If you ever thought joining the Mafia was just about sharp suits, loyalty, and money, think again. Because behind every whispered oath and every late-night meeting in a smoky Palermo cafe lies a machine. A machine that runs like a business, one built on fear, respect, and survival. Welcome to Cosa Nostra's day-to-day life. But before we dive in, hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to hear isn't just history. It's a guide to how the world's most notorious brotherhood still breathes in the shadows of modern Italy. The first thing you need to know if you ever dream of being made, and let's be clear, I don't recommend it, is that the Mafia isn't chaos. It's structure, it's rules, it's a silent hierarchy that's lasted over 100 years. At the top sits the boss, or capo dei capi, the boss of bosses. He's not always the loudest or the most violent. He's the strategist, the quiet one who speaks only when he must. Beneath him are the underboss and the consigliere, the right hand and the brain. Then come the capo regimes, or captains, each commanding a small crew of soldiers who handle the day-to-day operations, the money collection, the smuggling, the protection rackets. But it's the associates, the ones who aren't officially members but work for the family, that keep the gears turning. Bankers, politicians, contractors, people in suits and ties who never get their hands dirty but know exactly what kind of blood stains the money they touch. Now, let's rewind. The Cosa Nostra, or Our Thing, rose to power in the 19th century Sicily when the island was poor, ungoverned, and lawless. They were farmers, guards, enforcers, men who took justice into their own hands. By the 20th century, they'd built an empire stretching from Palermo to New York. Names like Lucky Luciano and Vito Genovese became legends, turning the Sicilian code of silence, omerta, into the backbone of organized crime across the Atlantic. But the modern mafia doesn't look like it used to. Gone are the flashy cars and public executions. Today's mob blends in. It wears suits, runs businesses, invests in construction, waste management, and even renewable energy. In Sicily, some bosses now meet over Zoom, using encrypted apps, hiding behind fake business fronts, laundering money through offshore companies. The digital age didn't kill the mafia, it evolved it. Still, the daily life of a mafioso remains as disciplined and as dangerous as ever. Every morning starts with routine, check-ins with crew members, calls disguised as casual chats, coded language to avoid wiretaps. Loyalty is tested constantly. A careless word can cost you your life. And yet, in the eyes of many locals, the mafia still fills a vacuum the state never did. In certain towns, they settle disputes faster than the police. Need a loan, protection, a job for your cousin? The men of honor will help, but their favors come with invisible chains. You'll owe them, and debts in the Cosa Nostra are paid in obedience or blood. By afternoon, business moves to meetings, sit-downs in restaurants, construction offices, or villas outside the city. No written notes, no recordings, just eyes, hands, and trust. Decisions about territory, drug shipments, or political deals are made in whispers. A family might decide who gets a government contract worth millions, or who's marked for death, all over an espresso and a handshake. At night, the boss might retreat to a quiet dinner surrounded by trusted men. No women, no outsiders. Discussions turn to loyalty, betrayals, rumors. They watch the news, track investigations, check which politicians might be turning against them. In the old days, bosses feared the police. Today, they fear technology, drones, phone taps, and data leaks. One text message can undo decades of power. You might think, with all this risk, why do they stay in it? The answer is the same as it's always been: power, respect, money. In poor Sicilian neighborhoods, being part of the mafia still means belonging to something bigger, a sense of identity, a way out of poverty, or at least the illusion of one. But make no mistake, the modern Cosa Nostra isn't invincible. After the brutal murders of anti-mafia judges Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino in the early 1990s, Italy fought back hard. Thousands of arrests followed, entire families dismantled. The old code of silence cracked as pentiti, former members, began cooperating with authorities. And yet, even today, the organization endures, smaller, smarter, quieter, like a virus that mutates to survive. If you were to walk through Palermo today, you might not see any of it. The baker who sells you bread could be paying protection money. The hotel you stay in might be owned by an associate. The politician shaking hands on TV could be connected to a copper regime. The mafia doesn't need to rule from the streets anymore. It rules from boardrooms, contracts, and influence. And that's the secret most outsiders miss. Cosa Nostra isn't about guns and glory. It's about control. Silent, invisible control. The kind that makes a man do what you want without ever realizing he didn't choose it himself. So, if you ever wonder what it's like inside the mafia, remember this. It's not a movie. It's not loyalty and brotherhood and honor among thieves. It's fear. Constant fear. The fear of being betrayed, of losing everything, of waking up one day to find the people you trusted most have already made a deal to save themselves. And here's the final truth, the one most recruits never understand until it's too late. The mafia promises protection, power, and belonging. But in the end, it takes more than it gives. Families destroyed, lives spent hiding, a world where love is weakness and silence is survival. Cosa Nostra isn't just our thing, it's a trap, one that swallowed generations whole. So before you ever think about joining that world, remember what it truly costs to live inside it. And if you want to understand more stories like this, the real ones behind the myth, hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning.